my best friend. Didn't care about the rules, good on the weekends. I'll be in fools, drifting to deep space. So brave and so stupid, just like the movies.
Hey guys, welcome back to Entre Hermanas. This is Brenda
and Cece.
And how are you guys doing?
Is that with a doubt? How are you guys doing?
I don't know. I don't want to ask that because
we have had a crazy week, I think.
This week is probably worse than last week. I think we called bad juju on our toxic episode.
I really think we
maybe no la creímos and like, I don't know.
Because let me tell y'all what happened, just so you guys get the memo. So I have I've been juntada. I'm going now to 4 years, and the guy I'm with, he's not. How do you? I don't want to say weird. He's just a whole different type of level of a man. I don't think I've ever dated someone with his personality. I don't think I've ever seen somebody with his damn personality. And really, let me tell you, when I met him, have I ever said that story, how we met?
No, maybe you should tell everyone how you guys met.
I don't know if I want to expose my ass like that. Let me tell you. So yeah, I met my man 4 years ago, right? But I was really bad. I was pretty lost, I was very into using, and I was just in a point where I wasn't okay with myself. I wasn't okay with my family. I had no job. I had nowhere to go. And I had actually just gone back to living with you guys, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Probably a few days.
Yeah.
When they were moving out, and I decided that I was going to throw a party.
A big ass party. So
it wasn't a big ass party. Okay, it was probably 6 of us in that house.
But let me tell you how it was. My brother had fixed up the house all nice, clean, done touch-ups around the house because I wanted to get my deposit back to be able to give another deposit where we were gonna be living, and they were asking first month, last month plus down payment. It was a lot. So keep going.
So I made a party. I stole the key from my sister, and then I called people over and we threw a party. We were smoking inside the house. And then we were drinking. We were mad drinking. I was wasted. We were all wasted. And the next morning, my sister comes up. And literally, me and one of my friends, we were still knocked out in the fucking ground when they came up. And she started yelling at me and telling me to get my shit, and get the fuck out. And find my own place because I'm disrespectful. And I was disrespectful. At that moment, I didn't see it because I was obviously using. And I didn't know, I honestly, it's not that I didn't know, I knew, but I was just so out of it that I just didn't care, to be honest. So then, I called a friend and I'm like, hey girl, I'm like, can I stay at your house, for a week until I'm able to go, find a place to go? And I did, I went to her house. And she was also moving out of her apartment to another apartment. And let me tell you, this guy, I probably just had messaged him a few times, on Snapchat. And I saw him once, and he was just not the type of dude I would go for. So I was like, never again, I'm not going to talk to you again. I cut him off and everything. And then, fíjate que I estoy, literally, he got home, and I was literally, sitting on his bed. I was sitting on his bed, yeah. If I knew him like that. And so then she was talking to, my friend was talking to her man to see if I could stay, for a week. He said, yeah, for sure. And so, I was sitting in my man's bed. At the time, he wasn't my man, but my man. And and, I was like, well, I'm going to go to the living room. And he's like, no. He's like, aquí quédate, acuéstate. And then I was like, okay. And then he left to shower, and then he came back, and he put a blanket on the floor, and he just laid on the floor. And I was like, oh, and mind you, okay, I was still on drugs. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of weird, right? And I told him, I was like, hey, why don't you, lay on the bed? Like, I'm not going to bite you. And so he laid on the bed, but when he laid on the bed, parecía un pinche, like, how they, like, lay down straight, like un muerto, and just puts their hands, just put his hands to, like, his stomach and try not to move or touch anything. And so then, that's kind of where it started. And we weren't going out, no nothing. We barely knew each other, and I moved in, and I ended up living with him. Yeah.
And his personality?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. His personality, like, I want to say he's not used to, like, the family lifestyle. Like, usually for him and his family, everything is private. Nobody knows what's going on with you, your person. You just don't communicate that. You shut it to yourself. And me and my family, right, sister, like, we're just very open, and we tell our shit how it is, and we ask opinions. And every time I come home and I say something about what we did or our relationship or something like that, it's an issue because for him, it's like, it should have been kept private. And I said it, but then that's just my personality, and I get his personality, and I try not to force him to be, like, too open. But then I tell him, like, that is who we are. That's who I am. And I'm not that close to his family for the same reason. That they're just not as open, I want to say.
But, I mean, I get the part where you're not as open, but...
No, I'm open. They're not open.
Well, yeah, he's not that open, but damn, he's clingy as fuck. Like, he needs to know everything. And what happened to not being as open?
But I want to tell you guys, I was his first girlfriend. His first and his only, because I got that shit on lockdown. his first and his only. So I think, like, relationship-wise, he doesn't have much to say. And I think I've been in quite a few relationships that I learned that I can't be too clingy. I learned that you have to give each other your space. But with him, it's not like that. He wants to know where I'm at. And because of that, like, sometimes he does locate me, like, on Snapchat. He'll send me a message. And my location is on, so he will see where I'm at. And he, he will creep up and be like, hey, what's good? What you doing, And that's something that bugs us because we don't find that very...
attractive.
Well, I maybe you don't find that attractive, but I do. Yeah. I think it's cute.
I think it's... like I've said it before, like, he is just hovering over you. Like, I don't know, like, if I wasn't here, it would be your other place. Like, he would just show up and go chill in the back room.
Yeah.
So, I understand, like, this is who he is, but, man, pulling those kind of stunts. And I think are you going to tell everyone, like, what happened?
Yes. Okay, so we were at the store, right? We were shopping. And when we were, I don't know, but I want to say, we were at Target here in Everett. I don't know if you guys know where that's at. But if you guys know where that's at, there's a back road, like, going into Target to go through the back road entrance. And so we were pulling out of there. And then when we were pulling out, we see this car that looks like my car pulling out of some complexes. And my sister, because I'm blind as hell. She's like, hey, sister. She's like, is that your car? And I was like, what? She's like, yeah. She's like, that's your man. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, because of the plates. And remind you, I'm blind. I have no clue what she's talking about. Like, the first thing I'm looking for is a bump that my car has on the side. So I was like, nah, like, that's not my car. And I was like, well, pull up to it. Like, if that's my man, then that's I wonder what the fuck he's doing. So we literally try to speed up to the car, and this fool drives off. He speeds off, and then he hits a red light. So when he hit that red light, we came up, and we were, like, on the other side
to side.
So we were side to side, and he was already rolling his window down. My sister was already rolling the window down, and I was like, what's up? Like, ¿qué estás haciendo? And then he looked at me and he pointed forward and he drove off. So my head, in my head, I'm just like, first of all, I wanted to see if there was anybody in that car because I would bust my own windows, swear. I would bust my own windows porque así soy de tóxica. And then he didn't call me. He didn't text me. He no nothing, no explanation, no nada. And that's never happened. He always pulls up on me and says, hey, what you doing, And that's what I'm used to. And maybe, the people I'm with are not okay with it, but I'm kind of used to it. But this time, there was no pulling forward. He did not. We pulled off to the Bigfoot Java, if you guys know where that's in Everett. I looked at my screen. I was like, well, why did he pull off to the side? So, but best believe, I came home heated. I told my family and my brother, my sister, I was like, you know what, dude? I'm just going to go get my car. And if this bro wants to, call me after work to pick him up or something, like, let me know. But I was like, nah. I was like, I'm going to take my car and then we'll see a ver qué. And so when we went there, we were outside waiting probably for an hour because he was busy. And then he brought me out the keys. He's like, you taking the car? And I was like, yeah, I'm taking the car. And then I was like, what were you doing? And then he's like, I was just giving a U-turn. And I was like, what were you exactly doing? And he's like, I was following you. But then I was like, why didn't you pull up to the parking lot? He's like, I did. And as soon as I saw you guys walk out, he's like, I decided to drive off. And it's just like, that was very sketchy. I was ready. I was
heated. I was very upset. I was like, okay, like, to me, that I'm not used to having someone do that kind of stunt on me. Not on me. Maybe she's used to it, but the way he reacted, like, he made himself look suspicious. So I was heating. I was like, who the hell? Why is he disrespecting my sister like that? Like, maybe yo le calenté la cabeza too to her, but then at the end of the day, I was like, he's done this before. And the fact that he didn't pull over, he didn't acknowledge, like, what had happened and try to explain himself. He made himself look even guiltier. But yet again, this is Philip.
Oops. Yep, that is him and that is who he is. And he's always been like that, And I was talking to my best friend and she said, if you know who your man is and if you know what your man was doing, like, why are you tripping? Why am I tripping like that? But, like,
we're toxic.
I don't know. Yeah, we're toxic. And I literally asked my mom. I'm like, Ama, I was like, what should I do? She's like, well, you've seen my life, you know what I've been through. She's like, what would you do? And I was like, should I go get the car? And she was like, no. She's like, think about it. And I was like, yeah, I should probably go get the car. And then she was like, pues, she's like, 𝐿𝒾𝒻𝑒 𝒮𝓉𝓊𝑔𝓁𝑒 like, that would be okay, bro. But I just felt so toxic afterwards because I got home. I got home and the house was clean and he had washed the dishes because it was a really busy day and I had no time to do any of that. And I had forgot that I told them, like, hey, ocupo aguas y ocupo. Le di like una lista de mandado. But yet again, I forgot that I had taken the debit card. So then he was like, that was what he was looking. He was looking to go get the debit card for me. But then he got scared because he knows that we're toxic as fuck. And we were going to be like, the fuck is you doing here? So yeah, that was kind of like what had happened, And I did get over it and I felt bad because later that night, me and him... Whoa. Excuse me. Le recomiendo el 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝑦. It's good for when you have gas. Sorry, I burped. And later at night, like, me and him live alone. We got our own apartment. And, so we do what we want to do whenever we want to do it, wherever the fuck I want to do it. So, either way, we were in the kitchen. We were cooking, right? And we were naked. We were naked cooking. And I felt so bad because then I was like, dude. I was like, ya estamos tú y yo aquí. I was like, y los de la casa se están chingando de coraje. I was like, they're so mad. And because, I understood what he was trying to do and what he was saying. But it's different, like, trying to explain it to my family because I feel like I'm with the man 24/7. and I get him, and there's like times we have our talks, but like here with the family, he's very like tiene una barda, you know.
He's
like,
not the same person when he's with her alone to where he comes to the house. Every time he comes to the house, he either comes in a bad mood, like someone's dragging him, like he's tired as fuck. So we're like, okay, then why don't you just go home and sleep? Like, what are you doing here if you don't want to be here?
And then he's home and he's hurt because he feels like he got kicked out. See, like, he is a weird person. Not a weird. I don't want to say weird because you're not weird just because you have those mood swings, I want to say.
He's an extra emotional person that is very hard to understand, to my point of view.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, and that set the mood. That toxicity set the mood for, like, I'm like, I don't want to see him. I don't. I'm pissed that he did that. And I need to get over it because it's her media naranja and I have to accept him and get over it. Next time he pulls a stunt like that, I'll be like, sister, it's usual him.
You know what, though?
Off.
It's happened many times, and that's literally what they tell me, like, it's Philip. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, it's Philip. You know, like, we know who Philip is. So don't trip. But this time it was just like we all went for it. We were all ready. We were just ready for him to say something. I was like, if you're going to leave me, tell me you're going to leave me. I was like, don't wait until like 10, 15 years that you're going to leave me. But I guess we've been kind of like on a, not rocky, but we've been emotional, like me and him, because I have been trying to get pregnant. You know, like it's been 4 years. I literally went to Mexico a buscar una sobadora para que me sobara la matriz, just in case que mi matriz estuviera caída. She said it was, you know, and it was the most painful, like, massages I've ever gotten in my life. Like, she literally put her whole hand, like, in my stomach and trying to push, I don't know what up, and it was painful. Like, I have videos. I told my mom to record because it was just painful literally, what they were doing.
There's, in the video, it shows where they literally have to put her with their feet up.
They literally, shout out to my cousins, because they had to grab me by the feet and pull me up, you know? So, like, I was literally, like, almost just on my head. And, I mean, I am not, you know, no soy una pinche plumita aquí que pesa unas 150. No, bitch, I'm over the 200s, you know? So, I felt for them. I was like, I'll pay for the back, you know, para que te masajeen la espalda y te la acomoden.
Getting straightened out right there and then.
Yeah, and then after that, I did get some, before coming back, I got some, like, son como hormonas. It's like te las inyectas, you know, in your butt, and it helps you with to get pregnant. But then I started, you know, kind of working with my mental health, and it turns out that they did diagnose me with bipolar disorder, bipolar disorder or something like that. And it's just like severe depression, you know, and it comes in waves. And so now I'm just taking medication that if I get pregnant, you know, it can harm a baby. But the doctor still has me taking pregnancy tests at least once to twice a week. And because, like, honestly, peeing on that stick and just seeing negative all the time hurts. Mm-hmm. And every time, like, I see that, you know, it brings me to a mojo where I can't stand myself, because, like, being a mom has been something I've always wanted above anything else. So, like, every time I have to take that test, like, I drag it, you know, like, I don't want to, because me, myself, inside, I know what the test is going to come out to be, but I still always have that hope. Like, I do have that hope. And so now, like, with the test, you know, like, I have to because of the medication I'm taking. And who knows? Who the heck knows? You know, I have hope till this day. I just don't ever want to do something that would harm a baby, you know, that I'm so much trying to look for. So, yeah. So, we had just taken a pregnancy test, and once again, it did come out negative. And now I've been noticing that, you know, like, it hurts him at the same time, but he just doesn't show it because he knows, like, the roller coaster I go through. And he never says nothing, you know, until last night he was telling me, you know, how he has a niece. His niece was just born, and how beautiful, you know, it would be to have a baby in the house. And then he tried to, like, he saw my face and he tried to switch it. And then he's like, let's wait till Luca has babies, you know. And Luca's my puppy. She's my baby. My fur baby. And that's why he switched it off. He still says that our hope is, you know, that Luca's going to have babies. I was like, and those are going to be our kiddos. But for now, we're just kind of thinking about me going straight up on birth control while I'm taking this type of medications, just in case, you know, anything might happen.
Yeah. And mental health is important to be bringing in a child into the world too, because when you're not prepared, it's hard. It's hard to accept that you're bringing a child into this world. And the good thing is that you guys are trying, so you guys are wanting this, you know. It's different when you bring an unwanted child into the world.
I agree with that. And it's crazy because I remember how like I was so against abortion. That type of shit. Like, I would be like, no, abriste las pinches piernas, te puedes encargar de tu niño. But now that I've seen the other side of when they do have the kids and what the kids are going through and how they're being raised either by their grandma or an aunt or like some other person, you know. And because they didn't want a baby from the beginning.
Or when you're raising a child and you're unhappy because you now have to take care of this child that you just were so against on having.
True.
You know.
It is crazy, you know.
That is a roller coaster too, because there's good days and there's really, really bad days.
Especially with what's called postpartum?
Postpartum depression.
Yeah. I think I've seen that act out quite a few times, you know, with why can't I say that word? Postpartum depression. But yet again, you guys, just remember you're not alone. I did post up some steps, you know, to try and relax when you're with your kids, you know. If you guys want to talk, if you guys want to send out like any type of shout out, if you guys want to send a story and you would like us to read it, you know, like send it out. We have our email and you can always hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. Yeah. You know, no se lo queden because I know how hurtful it is. It's crazy.
And I can relate in a way to the mentality of peeing in a stick, because once after I had the twins and as y'all know, I lost one of the twins. Like, I remember I would go to my family doctor and be like, I think I'm pregnant. And then the doctor would be like, what? And
let me tell you though, this girl got pregnant using... Oh, that's our dog. That's our alarm, actually, you guys. That's our alarm going off. They're our puppies. She literally got pregnant. What's it called? Where's that? Birth controls. Both times she was on birth control. And this girl ended up all preggo. It was, what's it called? It was an irony.
No, IUD.
No, it wasn't irony. You were on the IUD. Oh. But it was an irony how you would get pregnant even on birth control like that. And people dicen, pues, ¿por qué no te cuidaste? You know, ¿para qué abriste las patas si no te cuidaste, si no querías salir embarazada? And this girl would pull out, yeah, but I was on birth control for both.
I know, like, literally, I guess you can say, like, I've been sexually active since I can remember, and I've always been on birth control probably since, like, 12 years old, because I would have really bad migraines, really heavy flows, so that's the only thing that the doctor would recommend.
You started your period at 8 years old.
I started really young.
And see, let me tell you the funny part about that too is that once she played around and put ketchup on her calzones in the bathroom and she started screaming that she was bleeding. Y ándale,
I got my period.
That same year she got her period and it came worse than I've ever seen. Yeah. I've never seen somebody like get that sick of cramps.
Yeah, like I would 𝐿𝒾𝒻𝑒, the lights would be like completely pitch black. I would like get the whole heating pads and all that. Like it was
water
really
bottles.
bad.
She would fall asleep in the bathroom. I was like, girl, I hope I never get my period. And I honestly don't think I got maybe my period. My first time I thought was 13. Never again till like I was 15.
Damn.
And I was like, oh, I guess I started my period
Lucky.
at 15 or something. Never no cramps. And I was still irregular, so I probably had my period like 3 times a year, you guys. A year. And until I went to my doctor, and I was like, creo que me estoy pudriendo. I was like, I swear, I was like, everything's just jammed in there, and I'm probably gonna die, you know. Se me va a hacer cáncer. But no, she said it happens sometimes because, you know, like I was always like a big child, you know. Siempre estaba gordita. And I've always had weight issues. Mm-hmm. And now I want to say it's been up to like 4 years that I've been regular. Mm-hmm. And desde que me fui a sobar la pinche matriz, I've never had cramps like this before. I don't know if I'm okay with it. I was telling my mom, I was like, I think they dislocated something.
But yeah, I've been on birth control since I was very young. And then all of a sudden with my daughter, I guess I was in that relationship for a while. And then all of a sudden I pop out pregnant. I'm like, no, I didn't want this. I was being very careful, you know, like I was on birth control. He was being very careful. So it happened. It was only that one time, but I was on birth control. And then for the twins, like, I made sure that before I left to Mexico, I had that shit covered, you know? I wanted the max thing with the maximum amount of years so I didn't have to get, like, any depot shots or any pills or anything like that, you know? Like, just put it in and I don't have to worry about it. But no. There comes Brenda getting knocked up, and not just one, but with 2. So
they couldn't even find the baby because they're like the doctor was like, oh, you know, go empty your bladder. Maybe it's because you pee, like you need to go pee. Is that why we can't see the baby? So she went to the bathroom, and the girl's like, oh, and we're like, oh, what? She's like, there's not only one, there's 2. And this girl just started crying. She was crying. We got home to tell the whole family. They were all waiting. And then they're like, ¿Qué pasó? You know, they really thought that she had lost the baby or something because she was just crying.
She was bawling.
And so then my mom's like, what's wrong? And she's like, it's not just one, it's 2. And she started crying, and my mom's like, that was karma.
Yeah, I was karma.
Because she didn't want her, but she didn't want to be pregnant. She didn't want to have her baby. She was coming to get an abortion.
So with my first pregnancy, I didn't want to have a child because it was out of wedlock. You know, I also believed in what my sister believes, is that you should be una mujer de un solo hombre. But since what had happened with me back in my teenage years, I was like, shit, that happened, and now a child out of wedlock, and like who this child is from. And in a more episodes later, I think we'll talk about that, but not right now. And I didn't want to have her. And if it's not because she literally tells my parents like, hey, Brenda's gonna have an abortion, like.
But let me tell you what this girl did. Okay, I was in a mental hospital. Estaba encerrada, you know. And this girl came up to me, and nobody was with me. My parents had been gone, so it was just her visiting me. And she started crying. She's like, I'm pregnant, and I'm gonna get an abortion. And that at that moment, I was against abortion to the max. I was the type of person like, pues, si te ganó la pinche calentura, you know, get over it. You have to raise your child, you know. And so I did get out of the hospital, and I did tell my parents. And every time I talk about that, me acuerdo, because I told my dad, right, they were laying in the bed, and I was like, Brenda está embarazada. And the first thing my dad told me is, ¿Estás pendeja? And I was like, why me? Why me? I'm just a messenger. Like, don't shoot the messenger. And, you know, but at the same time, like, after she had the baby, you know, I think I think I want to say postpartum depression hit before you like had the baby. Depression was there.
I was pregnant, and mentally I did not know I was pregnant. Like, I was working, I was trying to be this hustler, and then all of a sudden I just like pop out the belly, and that's when everything started happening, where I was just too tired, so big, I couldn't with my life. Like, I saw the big difference that this child was making to my body, and the fact that I was bringing this baby into the world, and I had to accept still that I had to care for the baby. I was like, oh man.
And then after you gave birth, she straight up went to work.
Yeah.
She straight up went to work. It hit her like she would just deny her child in a way. She did not want to be with her child. Mm. So then, like, that's where I came in, you know, and I would be there for a baby, and I cared for the baby. She went to work, and I'd stay with baby. And she also stopped making milk so soon. Mm. You wouldn't make enough milk.
With Jocelyn, like, I straight up did not make any milk. Mm-hmm. Like,
and even though we tried, I remember trying to, like, como la agarré como una pinche vaca, and I was like, de aquí saco leche, but we didn't.
Not even with the pump, you know. No. I would stick myself to the pump and be, like, minutes on there, and nothing would come out. Like, I would bleed of how just dry I was.
She would definitely, she stopped making milk, so then my baby was drinking formula.
And then it didn't suit her well.
Oh, I remember the struggle of the formula.
That was hard. She would throw it up, like constipation, and then it wasn't sitting well. And I went to work right away, but then, like, after we were discharged, she was jaundicey. So we had to go back for, like, a whole entire day, right?
To be under UV lights.
It was pretty hard.
I know, we couldn't grab her, we couldn't touch her. Like, she would just be under the UV lights, and she would just cry.
She couldn't be swaddled either, because all the UV light needed to hit her skin.
Yeah, that one was hard. I remember that. I remember just sitting there crying because I felt for her. Yeah. I was like, my baby feels lonely.
And with the twins, I lost one of the twins, and I remember I would go to the doctor, and this was like probably a weekly thing. I was not sexually active. You know, my baby Angel's dad was in Mexico, and I had the baby blues. I would say, like, you know, I had a baby in the hospital, and then I had a baby that I had just lost, that I just wanted that test to be positive, to bring that hope of my baby coming back. Mm-hmm. And I remember my doctor saying, like, you know, like, you need help, because being hopeful for that, you know, having that positive test when I wanted him to come back, and it was just unrealistic. But yeah, the struggle is real. Postpartum is a big issue, and even though my kids are like about to be 5 and 6, it still gets to me sometimes, and it is a roller coaster, because you have that whole PTSD, that trauma, the depression, the postpartum, the baby blues. It all is a roller coaster, and there's days where there's good and bad.
It is. I think it goes hand in hand. You know, like infertility, unwanted babies, and the wanted babies that just don't make it. You know. It's a big motherhood is just the craziest roller coaster I think I could ever get in, or I think I did get in. You know, as soon as we had babies, I wanna say que fui partera, you guys. You know, it's probably like 5, 6 partos I've been in. I've been in 6 partos. Partera. Y ninguno me tocó a mí, pero estoy ahí bien chinogona agarrándole las piernas. Push! I remember I slapped one of them. And if you hear this, you're probably going to remember. Probably not. She was out. I remember I was slapping her to wake up and throwing water, like cold water in her face, because she was fainting while she was pushing. And I was like, no, girl, not today. I was like, I was like, wake up.
I know. But talking about motherhood, dude, like, I've been having issues. So do y'all have constipation issues with your kids? And then once they like take the plug out, it's like you got shits everywhere. So that's me. I'm currently dealing with the shits. So last week was like we were worried because one of my child was not pooping, and we were like, damn, it's day 8 and my child had not taken a poop, and the poop before that was a big poop to the point where he clogged the toilet. So I was like, oh my gosh, this poop is gonna be bad. Like, I need to go to the doctor. Like, you know, like the last one I had to help him and it was pretty big. So this one is gonna cut him open. He's gonna struggle. Let me just get him into the doctor to see what he could prescribe or any techniques. Like, I'm Googling over here, and they prescribed him Miralax, which I was giving him, like, all those 8 days were 8 days of no poop with Miralax. So I was like, there's a serious problem here. Like, why can't he poop? Well, now he took out the plug, and now he's to the point where, like, he had 𝘿𝘰𝘮𝘦, and it's like he didn't want to unbend, but as soon as he unbent, like, it was choro.
I know. She sent me a message. She was so upset, and I was like, dude, that didn't happen to me. But the last time he went to the bathroom, I was with him, and he went to the bathroom, you know, como si nada, and then he comes out, and I was like, baby, did you go pooping? He's like, oh, I went pee-pee. And then I was like, baby, I was like, are you sure? Because it smelled weird, right? And he's like, I just went poo-poo just a little bit. And when I went to go see the toilet, like, the toilet was clogged. And then I looked at him because I just saw everything just smeared everywhere. Like, in the toilet, I was like, did you wipe? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, baby, let me check, you know, because my baby's learning how to wipe.
Yeah.
And I was just ready for it. I was just ready for the whole mess. And he pulled down his pants. Y ahí está su pinche todo bien embarrado. And I was like, let's just go shower. I was like, we're just going to go shower.
Yeah. So that's my toxica motherhood exhaustion week. And then it's hard because he literally had to take like 3 showers because he had the runs, and poor child doesn't know, like, if it's gonna be a pedo or if it's gonna be like something else. So
but the good thing is que ya cago.
Yeah.
Ya cago. Ya chingamos, you know? Ya cago.
Lo que tenía atrasado.
Yeah, and I mean, the cleanup sucks, but it sucks more when he doesn't go to the bathroom and he's with his cramps, and then ahí estamos, pobre del niño, pobre nuestro hijo, y qué le hacemos, y qué le damos, and when he explodes, we're like, damn it, maybe we should have stopped the Miralax.
But yeah, constipation is a real big issue here. Like, ever since he was born, I guess this is something a lot of preemies go through, or any lactose intolerant babies, they go through this type of constipation, and it's hard to watch them. Like, with him, since he was little, it's been this issue. It's just the amount of days that he had gone without poop and Miralax. I was like, damn. But yeah. What was
I don't know, it sounded like someone fell.
Can I open this now?
Yes,
The
baby.
other one is not getting out. It's
Angel, say hi. Say hi. Say hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
How old are you?
4 minutes.
You're 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Not 4 years? No. Who do you love more, me or mommy?
Both of you.
Ah! And I think
Nice
that's
save.
it for yeah, it's nice save because he was right next to me.
And I love Maya and both my parents. And I love baby Yoda.
And I think that is it for today.
Yeah, that's all we have time for. We'll catch you up what's going on this week. I know we sound like blah here and there, but
We'll probably explain it next week, you know. It's been tough.
it's been
tough
tough
right
but
now. We're
we'll
going
get
through
over
it.
this hump, and then we'll bring you along our journey. So thanks for tuning in to Entre Hermanas.